Right now, an invisible war is raging across global networks. Millions of times per second, automated scripts probe firewalls, hunt for unpatched vulnerabilities, and attempt to breach digital vaults containing everything from personal medical records to national security infrastructure. Human operators, no matter how skilled, cannot read network logs fast enough to spot the subtle deviations that signal a sophisticated breach. The sheer scale of modern cyberattacks has simply outgrown human reaction times. This is the new reality of the digital age, a landscape where the speed of conflict is measured in milliseconds and the volume of data generated by a single server rack in 1 hour exceeds what a human analyst could review in a lifetime. To survive this onslaught, organizations are deploying a powerful defense mechanism against these relentless assaults. Artificial intelligence has transitioned from a theoretical research project into the foundational layer of modern cybersecurity. Rather than relying on static rules that only catch known threats, these intelligent systems learn the unique rhythm of a network. They ingest massive volumes of real-time data, mapping the normal behavior of every user, device, and application. By establishing this dynamic baseline, the technology fundamentally shifts the paradigm of protection from reactive patching to proactive hunting. The core of this transformation lies in machine learning algorithms designed for continuous anomaly detection. Traditional security software operates like a bouncer checking identification against a static list of known offenders. If a piece of malicious code does not match a documented signature, it slips right through the perimeter. Machine learning operates differently. It functions like a highly observant detective who notices that an employee who usually downloads megabytes of text files during business hours is suddenly exporting terabytes of encrypted data to a foreign server at 3 in the morning. The algorithm does not need to know the specific name of the attack to recognize that the behavior is fundamentally hostile. This capability has supercharged modern intrusion detection systems. When deployed across an enterprise network, an AI-driven intrusion detection system acts as an omnipresent nervous system. It correlates seemingly disconnected events across thousands of endpoints. A failed login attempt in Tokyo, a minor configuration change in London, and an unusual database query in New York might individually trigger no alarms. However, the neural network identifies the complex mathematical correlation between these events, recognizing the faint signature of a coordinated, slow-moving infiltration attempt. The system alerts defenders to the presence of a threat actor long before the final payload is delivered. Beyond network traffic, artificial intelligence is reshaping the battle against the most common vector for initial compromise, which is human deception. Phishing attacks have evolved far beyond poorly spelled emails from fabricated royalty. Today, natural language processing models analyze incoming communications for complex psychological manipulation. Instead of merely scanning for malicious links or known bad domains, these systems evaluate the urgency of the tone, the unusual request for financial credentials, and the subtle deviations in communication style from a known executive. By understanding the intent behind the text, the AI intercepts highly targeted spear phishing campaigns before they ever reach an employee inbox. When malicious code does slip past the perimeter, the focus immediately shifts to automated malware analysis. Historically, reverse engineering a new virus required days of painstaking work by specialized engineers operating in secure, isolated environments. Now, deep learning models can deconstruct an unknown executable in seconds. By analyzing the structural DNA of the file and observing its execution in an artificial sandbox, the system predicts the malware intended function. It maps exactly which registry keys the code will attempt to modify and which communication channels it will try to open, neutralizing the threat before it can establish a foothold. This acceleration of analysis translates directly into rapid incident response, a capability that is fundamentally altering the economics of cyber defense. In the past, the gap between detecting a breach and containing it often spanned weeks or months, giving attackers ample time to exfiltrate highly sensitive data. Today, an AI system can detect an anomaly, isolate the compromised server, revoke stolen user credentials, and deploy a custom security patch across the entire network in the time it takes a human analyst to pour a cup of coffee. This autonomous orchestration drastically reduces the blast radius of a successful intrusion, turning a potential catastrophe into a minor operational hiccup. Yet this technological leap has not occurred in a vacuum. The democratization of computing power means that the very same algorithms defending networks are now being weaponized by adversaries. We have entered a high-stakes AI versus AI arms race. Hackers are no longer relying solely on manual coding. They are leveraging advanced models to scale their operations and increase their evasiveness. The battlefield is no longer just human intellect against machine defense, but algorithmic offense clashing with algorithmic defense in a continuous loop of adaptation and counter-adaptation. Generative AI is heavily utilized on the offensive side of this equation. Attackers use sophisticated language models to draft thousands of highly personalized, contextually accurate phishing emails in multiple languages, practically eliminating the grammatical errors that once served as obvious warning signs. Furthermore, machine learning is being used to create polymorphic malware, malicious code that automatically rewrites its own structure every time it infects a new system. By constantly mutating its digital signature, this offensive technology is explicitly designed to evade traditional rule-based detection methods. The emergence of self-mutating threats forces defensive systems to rely even more heavily on behavioral analysis rather than static identification. The foundational principles of anomaly detection still guide development, but the models must now account for deliberate adversarial poisoning. Attackers actively attempt to feed corrupted data into defensive AI systems, slowly shifting the algorithm understanding of what constitutes normal network traffic. Defenders must constantly audit their own models, searching for blind spots and ensuring the absolute integrity of the training data. The system must not only detect the enemy, but also defend its own cognitive processes from manipulation. The stakes of this adversarial loop extend far beyond corporate data theft, reaching directly into the physical world. Power grids, water treatment facilities, and global financial networks are all managed by interconnected digital systems. Exploring how these critical infrastructure nodes are protected reveals the absolute necessity of autonomous defense. A successful cyber attack on a national energy grid could plunge millions into darkness and disrupt vital emergency services. In these high-stakes environments, artificial intelligence acts as the ultimate fail-safe, capable of severing connections and isolating critical operational technology from the broader internet the exact moment an anomaly is detected. However, granting autonomous systems the authority to make critical infrastructure decisions introduces a profound operational dilemma. This is the black box problem of artificial intelligence applied to security. When a deep learning model decides to shut down a major financial trading platform to prevent a suspected data breach, human operators need to know exactly why that decision was made. If the algorithm reasoning is too complex to be understood or audited, it breeds a dangerous lack of trust. Security teams cannot blindly rely on systems that produce unexplainable actions, especially when a false positive could result in millions of dollars in lost revenue or widespread operational paralysis. To bridge this gap between raw computational power and necessary human oversight, the cybersecurity industry is embracing a highly collaborative model. The goal is not to replace human threat hunters, but to elevate their capabilities. Artificial intelligence handles the grueling, high-volume task of sifting through billions of log entries, filtering out the noise, and highlighting the truly suspicious activities. The human analyst then steps in to provide contextual understanding, strategic judgment, and ethical oversight. This synergy creates a defensive posture that is infinitely more robust than either humans or machines operating in isolation. Looking forward, the role of these intelligence systems is shifting from reactive detection to predictive posture management. The next generation of cybersecurity tools will not just wait for an attack to occur. They will actively simulate thousands of potential breach scenarios against their own networks every single day. By mapping the attack surface from the perspective of an advanced persistent threat, the AI identifies hidden vulnerabilities, misconfigured permissions, and exposed assets before a hacker ever discovers them. It is the digital equivalent of constantly testing every window and door in a fortress, anticipating the enemy's next move and fortifying the weak points in advance. This predictive capability is also driving a massive democratization of enterprise-grade security. Previously, only massive corporations and government agencies could afford the armies of specialized analysts required to maintain a robust defense. Now, cloud-based AI platforms are bringing that same level of sophisticated protection to small businesses, local municipalities, and regional healthcare providers. By pooling anonymized threat intelligence from millions of global endpoints, The system ensures that a novel attack identified in a small clinic in rural Europe instantly hardens the defenses of every other organization connected to the global network. The reality of modern digital defense is that absolute, impenetrable security is a myth. The landscape is in a state of permanent, rapid evolution. As long as there is valuable data to be stolen, financial gain to be realized, or critical infrastructure to be disrupted, the attacks will continue to grow in sophistication, speed, and volume. The echoes of those early algorithmic breakthroughs still resonate, but the technology must continuously reinvent itself to keep pace with highly motivated adversaries. There is no finish line in this conflict, only a relentless pursuit of adaptation and resilience. Ultimately, artificial intelligence is the only mechanism capable of matching the sheer scale and velocity of the modern threat landscape. It is the tireless sentinel standing between our interconnected digital lives and the chaos of the unseen war. As we continue to build our future on a foundation of code and data, these intelligent algorithms will remain our most vital line of defense. The true measure of their success will not be the massive attacks we read about in the news, but the millions of silent, invisible victories won in the milliseconds before a breach can even begin.